they're going to get it.
That's very quite shocking. So to some, I guess it's fair to say that, we'll save aside the racial issue for a moment, that the anti-immigrant position it's anti-business.
Right.
It's anti-entrepreneurship, I mean, if I'm using that correctly. It's anti-privacy.
Right.
And it's a pro-security surveillance state.
That's true. That's true. Even if you take like a minimal, like you could take a minimal security situation, for example, if you want to know who is here, but you would have to assure every potential immigrant that they're going to get in. It's not like they're going to be like sent back.
Okay.
If they know they're going to get in, they all will sign up and have their picture taken and have a passport issued or whatever to come into this country, if they know that they're not going to be turned away. And I think that might be a way of legalizing, quote unquote, legalizing people versus these strong arm tactics that are being proposed by the Democrats and Republicans.
And I guess it was making me think the next step that would be much stronger step to real security.
Right.
Is that if people can come in freely and then they would have a stake in this.
Well, they would. And also, if it was so easy to come in and sign up that way, if they didn't do that, you'd know they probably are up to no good.
That's right. All right, I'm just, once again, this is the Libertarian Alternative. I'm Angela Keaton. I'm here today with Ted Brown, longtime Libertarian Party activist. Ted, you mentioned earlier that the real issue was the war.
Yes.
And when I went to Mexico a few years ago, I spent some time outside of Mexico City in a small town, a very religious and a conservative town, where it had prided itself on their homemade fireworks festivals. And when I saw the fireworks festival, it was quite many religious, many pro-life displays. It was actually quite political.
Yeah.
And many anti-war issues. And I think this is an opportunity where libertarians, if we're at all savvy, once again, immigrants can be really good for us. Not only are they pro-business, but they have the right position on the war.
Well, maybe. Of course, Mexico, I don't think has been at war with anyone for any since they threw out Napoleon III's designated emperor back in the 1860s. That's been a pretty peaceful country towards its neighbors, of course. Yeah, they might have had some civil wars going on within their country, but I don't think people there would be used to getting into uniforms and fighting a foreign force. And I guess coming here, they wouldn't have that experience either. They wouldn't be inclined perhaps to want to be in the military or something. I don't know. Maybe they would. It's if you're not being shipped off to Iraq, it's probably a pretty good job.
How else do you think? Well, of course, that's.
But now they're all being shipped off to Iraq, though.
How do you think how should the Libertarian Party do outreach to the Mexican voter?
Well, you would think that someone who's voting probably would speak English, but maybe not good enough to understand all the technical concepts. I would say we should make sure our literature is translated into Spanish. We should run ads on Spanish language television and radio. Of course, it'd be good if we could run ads on English language television and radio. But show that we're interested in what they're interested in, which is really the same issues as everybody else, only addressing it to them in the language that they can understand.
The Libertarian Party of California, of course, does have Spanish language pamphlets for those who are interested. And actually, we have at least one organization headed by someone who speaks fluent Spanish. So it's not unreasonable.
Right.
All right. So I guess we don't have very much time left. Would you give us a few places where we can find out more information on libertarianism in general?
Well, besides the Libertarian Party, there's the National Libertarian Party, as you mentioned, www.lp.org. California Libertarian Party, ca.lp.org. The Future of Freedom Foundation is an excellent organization that has a lot of articles and information about libertarian viewpoint. That's fff.org. There's think tanks like Cato Institutes, cato.org, Reason Foundation, reason.org. Basically, a Google search or other search engine on the internet is going to find a phenomenal amount of libertarian information. It used to be a few years back, they were few and far between, but now libertarians are we're gaining. I mean, more people are understanding our views and publicizing our views. And I think that can only improve.
All right, as we're coming down to the last few minutes, what are your plans for 2008?
Well, as you know, I'm the Libertarian Party's perennial candidate recruiter, so I'm going to be out looking for libertarians to run for offices in California in 2008, and certainly encourage people in other states as well. As for myself, I'm not sure yet. There's obviously congressional or state legislative offices in the area.
If someone would like to run for one of these offices, how do they get in touch with you?
They should email tbrown@ca.lp.org.
All right. Is there anything else in preparation for that someone who is a potential candidate should do?
Well, they should be sure that they're registered to vote as a libertarian. If they aren't, it's probably too late.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, once again, if this is the Libertarian Alternative, and you should always, always, always go www.lp.org. And of course, I always forget our toll-free number, but I'm sure we have one. We have a fantastic toll-free number out there.
877-ELECT-US.
Yes,
is that right?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right. And so before we go out, just one more question. Since the Ron Paul situation is going to be excited, do you have any opinions on what a libertarian should do in the meantime? About Ron, yes, I mean the Ron Paul scenario.
Well, libertarians, it'd be nice to support Ron Paul, but he is a Republican, and in California, you could be registered either a Republican or an independent and vote in the Republican primary for president. But again, that small number of people that would do that to change registration might not be a good idea to leave the Libertarian Party for that reason. Ron needs, millions or tens of thousands of votes. And it's just a matter of, instead of necessarily going out and changing your registration, you should just go out and urge people who are Republicans or independents to vote for Ron Paul.
All right. The Future of Freedom Foundation has this question. Well, if it's not good for people to come in from Mexico, why not stop having laws from people going from California to Arizona or Arizona to New Mexico, for that matter?
Well, that's a good point. And we don't have laws like that. Well, actually, interesting. During the Depression, there were laws like that. California had a law trying to keep people from Oklahoma from coming into California because of the economic conditions and the farms and everything. But that's not legal. We can't do that. People have to be allowed to come from state to state within this country. In fact, that's actually a good thing because you can vote with your feet. Say, for example, you can, if you think you're paying too many taxes in California, you can move to Nevada or Arizona where the taxes are a lot lower, and a lot of businessmen are doing that. California is like cutting its own throat by some of the anti-business policies here. So the same idea, I mean, we shouldn't immediately think that someone coming from Mexico, it's a bad thing. Just like I think it's great for people to come here from other states. I came from another state. I believe you did also. And more likely some of those other states want to keep people from leaving. Like some of those northeastern states that are losing population might want to say, hey, maybe we'll give people an incentive to stay here because otherwise we're losing everybody.
Each immigrant that comes here is a consumer of sorts.
Yes.
They're taking American money, they're going to stores, they're buying things, there's exchange. This is a good thing. This is creating jobs, this is creating wealth for someone else. Who could possibly object to that? I know, and it's that's what you mentioned before about the entrepreneurs. Who were the Hispanic people starting businesses, and that's part of the reason. There are a lot of people here who are going to buy their services who are from their country. But of course, they don't just serve that community. They open a business, they're going to serve everybody in the community, and it's a great thing. And so, somebody goes to work, they buy money in the grocery, or they spend money in the grocery store, or they buy furniture, or they buy a car, or there's so many different things, and it really drives the economy. Immigrants. Whether it's from Arizona or from another country, are going to improve our economy here. Well, Ted, you've been a delightful guest. Well, thank you for having me. And thank you so much. This has been the Libertarian Alternative, and the website, if you're interested, www.lp.org. And we'll be back soon. Thank you. Good night. Don't give up.